Welcome back to downtown St. Louis, the 26th Annual International Fuel Ethanol Workshop. Our broadcast made possible by Eisenman Clean Air and Energy Technology. Our guest is our good friend Bob Dinneen, President and CEO of the Renewable Fuels Association. Good to see you again, my friend. Let's talk about the much anticipated announcement from EPA. We're waiting on that E15 waiver. Will they allow up to 15% ethanol in the fuel supply? You and I were talking, there's a growing fear that it's going to be a mixed message from EPA, which could actually wind up sending a negative message if they say, yes, it's allowed, but only on vehicle years of a certain point and beyond. That could do a lot of harm.
Well, I think that it will. The EPA is indeed on track to approve the use of E15 based on the testing that is coming in from the Department of Energy that suggests that there are no issues. Now, there are no issues on any of the vehicles being tested, but EPA apparently is on a course that would only allow E15 to be used in 2001 and newer vehicles, which would be okay, I guess, if they'd actually showed that. But there is not one scintilla of data to demonstrate that there's a problem with a 2000 vehicle that there will not be in a 2001 vehicle. I've talked with EPA, I've talked with auto manufacturers, I've talked with engine manufacturers, and nobody can tell me what change in engine design, what change in materials were used 2000 to 2001 that justifies a bifurcation of the auto fleet in that fashion, and nobody can give me a reason. There is no reason.
So who are they trying to appease with that kind of an announcement?
I think it's just one of those things that EPA is looking at, and half of the vehicles are newer than 2001, half are older, and, it becomes a political decision. It's not a scientific one, that's for sure, and we're concerned that that's really going to discourage marketers from offering E15 to consumers because it would entail more infrastructure investment. It would also potentially entail a great deal more liability for misfueling. If somebody drives in with their 2001 Pontiac and forgets that they're not driving their 2002 Chevy and fills up with the wrong fuel and then comes up with a problem that they wanted to blame on the fuel later on. We think marketers will be confused and discouraged. We think consumers will be confused and discouraged. This industry has worked for more than 20 years to get labels off of the pump. And now there's going to be a label on pumps offering E15 that begin with the word warning and end with the word ethanol, and all the garbage in between is immaterial. And I just think it does more harm than good.
Yeah, you put more confusion in the marketplace. You put questions in the motorists' minds. All those things will work against the industry. And as you said, we've worked so hard to get past that. And in some ways, this announcement, if it comes from EPA, would be a step back.
Absolutely. Look, I've got several vehicles in my own driveway that are older than 2001. And if I'm, just your typical consumer and I pull up to a pump and I see a label that says, warning, do not use E15 in a vehicle that's older than 2001, I'm thinking, why do I want to put that product in my 2005 vehicle? The signal that is sending is an extraordinarily negative one. And again, with not one scintilla of data to suggest that there is justification for that kind of a bifurcation.
Any idea when the announcement from EPA will come?
I think it comes August or September, sometime soon. There are things that the agency could do even today that would open up market opportunities for ethanol that would be allowed under their existing regulations that they should do. But they continue to just count the angels on the head of the E15 pin, and it just doesn't make any sense.
At a time when we keep hearing out of Washington, we have to have other forms of energy. Look at what's happening in the Gulf. We need these other forms of energy. We need jobs. Well, you've got an industry here that does both of those things.
It defies explanation as to why the government is putting all these shackles on this domestic renewable fuel when you have oil lapping upon the shores of the estuaries in the Gulf Coast, and you've got an opportunity for corn-based ethanol to expand rapidly. We're looking at another bumper crop. We could be looking at value-added benefits for farmers. We could be looking at reducing gasoline costs for consumers. We could be looking at reducing the need to ever drill in the Gulf of Mexico. But, rather than do that, they shackle us, and they continue to tilt windmills toward biofuels that are not yet commercialized, that are far from development, far from commercialization, but represent in their mind the perfect molecule. Well, enough is enough. We've got issues today, and you can't look at what's going on in the Gulf of Mexico and say that we've got time to wait or time to dither, and that's what the government is doing right now.
Good to see you, my friend, and we'll talk again, especially when that announcement comes out from EPA.
Appreciate it. Appreciate everything you do for agriculture, Mike.
Thank you. Bob Dinneen, President and CEO of the Renewable Fuels Association, here at the 26th International Fuel Ethanol Workshop and Expo being held in downtown St. Louis. We'll take a break. Back with much, much more as we look at the issues and challenges and opportunities facing the ethanol industry today. Stay with us. This is AgriTalk.